old washer and dryer? Well, it's time to get off the bus at Owen Home Appliance Center and learn what a new Speed Queen washer can do for you. They're in stock and are ready for delivery now. At Owen Home Appliance Center, quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's right there in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center. 2 locations to serve you, Highway 36 in Somerville and the interactive location at Highway 231 in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river.
Hey there, everybody. Bob Baumhauer here, letting you know that we understand that times are tough and we truly believe value matters. So, by popular demand, we brought back our Inflation Bites menu featuring scratch-made meals that will make the whole family smile, and your wallet, too. Menu items start at just $7.99, and any entree comes with a free beverage. Try our classic tailgate burger for just $8.99, or our hearty Bam Bam chicken platter for $9.99. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama.
Alabama!
Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. College football news. Vandy's Diego Pavia named SEC's Offensive Player of the Year, while Texas A&M's Cassius Howell named Defensive Player of the Year. Alabama's Caden Proctor, your Jacobs blocking trophy winner. Vandy's Clark Lee named SEC Coach of the Year for the second straight year, guiding the Commodores to a 10-2 mark, Vanderbilt's best regular season in school history. Auburn has named DeMarcus Van Dyke their new cornerbacks coach. He replaces Wesley McGriff. Michigan has fired head coach Sherrone Moore. Details surrounding his firing are still being confirmed. Moore was in jail Wednesday night, hours after his firing. Thursday night college basketball, the UAH Chargers back at home tonight. Got to welcome Trevecca Nazarene. Women tip off at 5. Men's game at 7:30. 97.7 ESPN The Zone, your home for both. Just download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app to listen to the action.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the flush.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific need. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
Attention, attention, may I have the camp's attention?
Your home of the college football playoffs.
Playoffs?
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Playoffs? Playoffs?
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to another edition of the Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WCZN TV over on YouTube. Hello, how are you doing today? I am John Abraham. He is Joe Hunk. And oh boy, what a day it was. Wednesday will go down in infamy as one of the wildest coaching stories in all of college football, and we will get into that here in a little bit. But we also have a lot of fun things coming up here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I think those are the fun things.
No, those are the fun to
things.
talk about. It's tragic, though, whenever you really just pull back the curtain, but we'll be getting into that.
Somebody else pulled back the curtain. We wouldn't be talking about this.
Ooh, golly. It's all over the place, and you know exactly who we're talking about. Of course, when it comes to Michigan, it's going to be a little bit of a tough situation. But, of course, Sherrone Moore does get fired yesterday. Michigan head coach for the last 2 years. He took over as interim after we saw Jim Harbaugh, of course, leave. He already had some lingering drama going on with him with the whole Connor Stalions situation. He was texted back and forward with Stalions. And, you know, you kind of think that it's starting to kind of go away and the skeletons are kind of now all out, cleaned out of Michigan's closet. But then we get this news, and this has been a story that's been going on for quite some time. But I will put a pin in that story because we do have a Christmas party coming up, and I do want to make sure you guys know that on December 16th here in Huntsville, Alabama, we are going to be heading out to Field Day Huntsville, and we're going to be having a heck of a time for our Christmas party to benefit, of course, the Marine Foundation, Toys for Tots Foundation. So make sure you guys bring a unwrapped gift, and then you get in on all the fun. You get a taco bar, you get the mini putt, and you get to just be a part of, a very festive time here in this very giving time that is the Christmas season or just the holiday season. No judgment to you.
Why are you so chill right now?
I don't know. Why are you so chill right now, Joe?
I mean, I know why I'm chilled, but I actually have a reason. You, on the other hand,
am I supposed to be going crazy about all of this stuff?
You're supposed to be a little bit more energetic.
I'm going to get to this here in a second. All right, the energy's building up, and it's going to release all over this Michigan story. All right,
this is amazing.
The Michigan story?
Yes.
I don't know.
It is beautiful.
Look, all right. So how much do we want to just go
everything
and release this?
No. Again, if somebody else wouldn't have released things, then we possibly would never be in this situation to have to talk about.
A lot of this is going to be speculation. We also do have some guests that are going to be coming on to talk a little bit of Texas Tech football as well as Indiana football. So you guys are going to know a little bit more of what this playoff field holds for us. But we do need to talk about the wild little creature in the room.
I want to know the reason why you're so against it right now, because you're just like, well, I guess
because I know that a lot of people were throwing out tweets about this whole thing, and obviously, Sherrone Moore currently in custody, so something had to be involved where he was maybe getting aggressive with somebody. We all know who he was getting aggressive with. But again, there's some speculation that's going to be thrown out in this whole conversation. Just want to warn you on that.
All right, so then let's focus on things. Yesterday, Sherrone Moore was fired. That we know.
Start with that one.
Yesterday, Sherrone Moore was arrested. So those two things are accurate, correct?
Yes, those are the only complete, solid, set in stone, accurate things that have been thrown out of this.
Now,
and the story came across, like, it instantly was on my feed that just Sherrone Moore got fired. I got a text from my brother, and I was just like, I guess they're really trying to get away from all that, the Jim Harbaugh stuff, huh?
Now,
no, it's all Sherrone Moore's stuff now.
So let's go with what the university and what has been officially made public. Let's go with that part. Okay, Sherrone Moore was fired yesterday from Michigan. The school said for inappropriate relationships with a staff member.
Mm-hmm. Not nice, not nice at all.
So there is that. So he was fired with cause, which means his contract is terminated. The university owes him no money.
He had a $13 million buyout, by the way.
Yeah, so that we know for sure. The police have then said that they arrested an unnamed suspect in an investigation, and that the current status at this time, they are prohibiting the release of any additional details of what is happening.
And then we got a mugshot later on.
Yes.
So we know that it was Sherrone Moore. Yep.
Yes. Now, and then you have another statement from the school that was saying that following a university investigation, credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Okay. Those are the two things that we know that are fact.
So can we now piece it together with the speculation?
Well, then the speculation comes in. I'm pretty sure, let's just go ahead and say, pretty sure you don't get arrested for inappropriate contact with an employee.
No, you'll just get let go and maybe fined or suspended for a little bit.
I mean, again, now, then if you start going into it was unwarranted contact, it was forced contact, then you start getting into other things. I'm not saying that it is. No. I'm just saying that let's look at the different information as far as what is official and what is not. We have been sent things. We've been sent pictures. We have been sent, messages on message boards. We've been told all of this stuff. The thing as far as what's happening at Michigan is this is not pretty. And this is something that along the lines of this is so bad for the university that they absolutely now need to clean house.
Yeah.
And
it's about
regardless of just about the facts of what we know. You, as far as the University of Michigan, need to get as far away from any Harbaugh related people as you absolutely can. You have got to, if anybody even has a Harbaugh in their phone contacts list, they need to be let go. Like it is that just anybody that has any connection to anything Michigan and Harbaugh needs to be gone.
Clean house.
Because Moore was suspended. Remember, he got that wonderful suspension that we talked about because it happened after last season.
Yeah, two games.
He's going to be suspended 2 games, and it's going to be these 2 games.
It's like a very Jim Harbaugh type thing.
Is it those are some of them. So that is what is kind of taking place, but at the same time, you now have like a lingering cloud over the program that is 100% one of the best in the country, 100% one of the biggest names in all of college football and college athletics to begin with. You have got to clean up everything inside the athletic program involving football that you can, or this can have massive ripple down effects for you for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I think the craziest thing is Michigan, of course, just got done with National Signing Day. They bring in a few kids, and this all comes out right after that signing day comes to an end. So you also got to think, how long has this been going on, Joe? I mean, has this been a thing that's been going on for 2 weeks? How long have they been investigating this whole thing?
No, this isn't. Because 2 weeks is definitely not long. This is going to be something that has been going on for a period.
I think some things have been trickling out, all right? I think the university caught wind of it. They didn't want it to get out into the public, but of course, you can't just fire a guy without any evidence. I think that's what it led to, of course, a little bit of an investigation around Mr. Moore. And then it got to the point where, hey, we got enough. It's time to fire him. And then, of course, that's whenever all the stories started fully coming out. But there were stories coming out like just rumors 2 weeks ago over on Twitter. And I was just like, huh.
Well, look, if this is something that the university has probably been dealing with for a period of time, and the only reason I think about that is just I say dumb luck. I'm going through remember a couple of years ago, the FX series that came out about Aaron Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've never seen it. And so I was like, all right, let's start watching it.
I've caught a majority of it on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot.
Yeah.
But in probably about 3 of the episodes deals with his time in Florida, and they have, and I'm not saying that this is just Florida. So for anybody that goes, oh, well, of course Florida has it. No, I'm guaranteeing you every university has it. They have basically what they call like the fix-it man. Like, oh, crap, we've got a situation. This is the guy we call. Like, this is the guy that will make everything go away. Every university has this guy. And in that situation, obviously, Aaron Hernandez had a lot of crap that he was trying to hide. In this situation, you can almost guarantee that the fix-it man from Michigan has been dealing with this stuff for a long period of time.
He's about to retire, man.
Oh, trust me.
He's just I got to get out of here, too.
He gonna write a book, okay? Like, yes, it's gonna be a good book. But
Break it, Ralph.
Those guys are the ones that are given all the information and all this other stuff. Now, I'm not saying that is the only thing, but I'm just saying this is something that had to have been going on for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I could totally be stretching. I would assume that this is something that was going on before he was the head coach of the university. Like, I could assume it would be that long. Okay. That is something that the university has probably been investigating and dealing with behind the scenes for a period of time. And it had gotten to a point where, hey, this is now really serious.
The cup hath runneth
over. It may have been one of those situations where people inside the administrative staff have been looking at said person, not hinting at who or what it was.
Yeah.
Being like, if you ever feel that you want to tell us something, just know, like, here's the protection. Like, here's how we will protect you.
Yeah, I don't think this went back to before he was the interim coach. I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
I think it was in the last year that this story really started happening, because anytime you look at any of what Sherrone Moore has done, it really links back to all of the Connor Stallion situations. And it's pretty funny because Brandon throws this out there. A lingering cloud, ? He says it looks more like the cloud that was over Chernobyl. And I'm like,
second day we've brought up Chernobyl.
I know. What's up with that, man?
When you talk about explosions.
And we also talked about goalish.
And here's what's so messed up about this. If it wasn't for the Sherrone Moore story right now, we would once again be talking about everything happening at Notre Dame.
I know.
Especially with the new Yahoo report that just came out about how all the conferences are thinking about blackballing Notre Dame and being like, oh, yeah, we're just not going to schedule you, because if we don't schedule you, then you're never going to be ranked in the top 12. And then if you're not ranked in the top 12, then it doesn't matter if you're undefeated or not. You're not making the college football playoff. I love that they are blackballing this. This is the chaos that I love. If the story is true, then you're forcing Notre Dame to make a decision. If it wasn't for the Sherrone Moore stuff, this Notre Dame story would be even bigger.
I know
about it, because if college football is doing this, this is what you have to do to get something like what Notre Dame does in line with the rest of it. It's either, all right, either play ball with us, or, yeah, you can play UConn 6 times. We don't care. It's not going to get you in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fine. We're going to make it where you can't be ranked in the top 12.
Yeah, and I thought that's where it was going to come to. Teams are going to start going against Notre Dame. And, of course, it's a big brand, and of course, the conferences love to have them. But the other teams around college football don't exactly need them. So that is definitely a big story. We will be touching on that throughout today's show as well. But before we get out of here and get into our first guest that covers Indiana Hoosiers football extensively, and Zach Osterman from the Indy Star, we have a special guest to join us today. It's Wolverine Dan. Wolverine Dan, what's up, man?
Oh, my God. You kidding me?
So glad you called in.
What a chump. Oh, my God. This is sickening. It's, when you marry somebody for better or for worse and you stay faithful, what the hell's the matter with you? Plus, you got the dream job everybody wants, the greatest program in NCAA football, in any kind of sport. Michigan, for crying out loud. You don't get no better than that.
Oh.
And this guy says, oh, my God, put your pickle back in your pants, right? What's up?
Oh, the pickle is definitely out right now.
The worst thing is, I hope it's still not out.
No,
the worst thing is,
definitely in one.
I mean, the guy had a family. 3 kids. He had a wife, like all of this stuff. He had this wonderful job. And then just for it to kind of all go downhill because, of course, he can't control his lust. It's tough.
Yeah. And what is that? What kind of example are you setting your children? Well, you're a slug. Go. Why don't you live underneath the rock? Because that's where you belong. That really upsets me.
Yeah.
I love my sports. I love my teams. I'm myopic. It's who I am. I understand that. I get it. But at least I'm a dang good father and a husband, and that you can always count on me. But this guy, you're kidding me. Multi-million-dollar job, making big coin. Guys, why? Oh my God, really? That's immaturity. That's what it is. It's immaturity, and shame on him. I got nothing good to say about this guy, and he is so wrong. And fellas, I apologize for the university what this guy did. And you know what, man? This guy needs to just go away. Now, here's the thing. Before I roll, check this out. So we got coaches, that are coaching the team. Check this out. Wink Martindale, Biff Hoagie. Who's next? Boo Boo and Yogi?
Some onomatopoeia names right there.
What have I got here, for crying out loud? What? Why don't we? Look, I wish this would have happened before that offer to Indiana coach and kept him. I would have loved to have him as a Michigan. Can you imagine him as a Michigan coach? Oh my God,
I couldn't imagine him.
No. So here is the question. I'm going to hang up and give me some people that, let's move on, would be suited for the job. I'll hang up and you please let me know.
Right.
I'll talk to you later.
Appreciate you, Wolverine Dan. And it's
honestly,
never Wolverine Dan's fault. It's never anybody's.
No, any
of the fans' fault of these teams. Do you think we got mad at all the Penn State fans because of Jerry Sandusky's sick and twisted past? No, he's just a sick and twisted person. All of this stuff at any time could surprise us. And
I don't really think this is a Sandusky type.
I think when it comes to the wild factor, this is second, third behind what Jerry Sandusky did. But it's a totally different thing.
No,
Sandusky's
on a whole different
I get it.
platform.
That's like one of those psychopath documentaries that you watch, Joe.
Yeah, no, it really kind of is. I can give you a lot of information about Sandusky stuff. You don't want to open that door.
The Sherrone Moore situation is more like a late night telenovela, and it's just like the most crazy things that could happen.
The Sherrone Moore thing is literally it was lust, it was power, it was all of that you get at a university.
It was a spiral.
Not being able to handle that. Look, I mean, it is one in which that when you work for a university like he does, and you're in a situation of power and you have the fame that you do, it's very similar to whenever you're actually on the field, where you are pretty much going to get people throwing themselves at you, and you can have almost anything that you absolutely want. I mean, but there also has to be a line of credibility. There has to be a line of restraint. There has to be a line of right and wrong as far as knowing what you should and should not do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that should come with this, and some people can handle it and some people cannot.
Difference between a college coach and a rapper on the stage that could just
rappers can do whatever
they can do whatever they want. This wouldn't even be a problem if he was doing a different profession.
If this was a rapper,
but of course,
this Drake, you're like, oh, of course he does that.
There's a reason to why he got arrested, and there's a reason to why he got fired, and it all kind of happened, and it spiraled out of control. And the news that we got about why he's arrested in the first place, it gets even wilder. But we want to make sure that all of the story is for sure.
Well, because 99% of this is hearsay.
Yeah.
Now, it may be accurate.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we may come on the air and be like, yep, everything we heard about the last 24 hours, 100% true.
But we ain't Twitter, so we're not going to spit out that.
What kind of film were you watching in the film room? What were you doing there?
I don't think he was watching film.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it could set the mood. I don't know. But this is what I'm just saying. Like, all of that stuff is... You've got to be careful with it, but we don't get to the part where somebody's arrested if this was just flirtation, making somebody uncomfortable in the workplace. Now it gets to once you start talking about possibly forcing, blackmailing. You're not going to tell because if you tell, then this is going to happen, like that sort of thing. If we get there, and that's what this all eventually becomes, and so be it. But right now, there's nothing being said as far as the details are concerned, because again, the police are even saying, hey, we're trying to we want to make sure this is an open investigation. We do not want anything, tainted as far as evidence or people's opinions or anything like that. We're about to talk to. Let's go ahead and get the evidence first. That's what you have to do. By the way, Yahoo is reporting that Notre Dame's memorandum of understanding that grants the Irish preferable playoff access starting next year. Athletic directors in other leagues are threatening to freeze Notre Dame out of future schedules. Mm-hmm. This is awesome. If it would make me laugh if Auburn comes out right now and says, "Yeah, no, we're good. We're going to go ahead and cancel that plan that we have." To do the home and home in Notre Dame. No, we're good. We're going to go 9-game schedule now. We don't need this game.
Now I'm even more happy that we brought up the MOU early in the week. But a lot of things to get into today, as well as a lot of guests, as we also will have Jarret Johnson joining us with the Inside Red Raiders. And looking forward to all of those conversations to gain a little bit more knowledge around the college football playoffs. But you guys can also get in on the show or get in on the chat, WZZN TV on YouTube, Facebook, and X, or you can call us at 256-576-97.7 to get in on the show. Always presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, just look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. Fill out that free quote today, and remember that Fleming always shows up, just like the ads right around the corner. We'll be right back here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and ESPN Winchester.
This is the Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he could take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. We're going to be cooler across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures only climbing into the mid-40s, dropping into the upper 30s as we head into the overnight early Friday morning. Mostly a partly sunny sky Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid-upper 50s and then dropping into the low 30s overnight early Saturday morning.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello and welcome back into The Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk with you guys. Lots of fun, interesting, kind of tragic things to get into today as we continue on with 2 hours straight of sports talk, goofs, gaffs, and so much more. We appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're listening up in Tennessee or just here in the Tennessee Valley. But wanted to continue on the conversation around the playoffs, something that we were probably going to start with coming into today, if not for all of the Sherrone more conversation that has also popped out. We're going up to Indiana, my friend. Yeah, we're going up to Indiana to get into a conversation around some of some of the football. What are you talking about?
Hawkins, Indiana, man. That's where Stranger Things happens.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I didn't want.
It's actually filmed in Georgia.
See, I didn't
But
want. I
Hawkins,
didn't want you to get into all of that. Stranger Things TV stuff.
Amazing.
Because we want to talk about some actual
Trust me,
stuff.
we're living in the upside down after this Michigan information. We're living in the upside down.
Definitely feels like a weird timeline that we're living in. But joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline is a guy that follows a lot of Indiana football and Indiana athletics, and that is one Mr. Zach Osterman from Indy Star. Zach, how you doing today, man?
Good. Thanks for having me.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you hopping on with us. And before we get into some of the conversation, when I was texting you yesterday, you know a little bit about this area, man. You know a little bit about the Huntsville-Decatur area.
You do?
How is the connection even there, and how are you up in Indiana now?
Yes, I grew up in Atlanta, and my stepmother was born and raised in Decatur. She was a Red Raider. Nice. And we would go over there at Christmas, sometimes in the summer too. Let's see. I'm not sure what's still there. I don't know if the Hard Dog's still open.
No, the Hard Dog is still there, buddy. It's still there.
That's excellent news. That's excellent news. Many a bowl game watching the Hard Dog.
Hard Dog's legit.
Big Bob Gibson's obviously. Mallard Point. We used to go ice skating over at Mallard Point when we'd come over in the winter. It was. I mean, I haven't been to Decatur in maybe 5 years now. It's been a little while because I basically came up here for college and then just met a girl and got a job. But
the dream.
Many Christmases spent in Decatur many years ago.
Yeah. Well, I bet this Christmas is feeling a little bit more special, of course, with the Hoosiers being so competitive at football and just. Talk about it historically, what we're seeing from Curt Cignetti's team just in his second year, what he's been able to achieve with Indiana that, many coaches in the past have tried to do with what a lot of people look at as a basketball school. Just talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, it is from Indiana's perspective unprecedented. They'd never won more than 9 games in a season until last year. As you talked about, they had some, either famous or, successful coaches or both come through. Lee Corso was at Indiana for about 10 years. Bill Mallory, who won 11 games at Colorado one season, I don't think ever got past 8. If my memory serves, I don't have his record right in front of me at Indiana, but is widely regarded as probably the best coach in Indiana history up till Curt Cignetti's hiring. But nobody had managed to put Indiana into kind of the class that Cignetti has. And, to his credit, once the Big Ten Network money kind of opened some new revenue streams, obviously everybody in the Big Ten shares that money equally, but it probably went further for schools like Indiana that needed to, kind of cover that gap in facilities and investment and spending. Ohio State was never going to be short for money. Michigan was never going to be short for money. And so there was a 10 to 15 year period of Indiana really trying to invest in facilities, invest in infrastructure, pay coaches more competitively, et cetera. And then there has been, Indiana doesn't have, I don't think, the most expensive roster in the Big Ten by any means, but I think they're probably top third in the conference in, revenue share plus NIL dedicated to football. So the school has been intentional about trying to be better at football for a while now. But, I don't think anybody was ever going to predict that this was what would come from that.
Yeah. Well, and with this, what's coming over the last 2 years of it, we've obviously seen that your head coach Cignetti is part of the majority of the reason why this is happening. But everybody now is looking like, oh, well, Indiana was a 1-year deal. Did you guys start to see, even after last season, that, look, this is a foundation that's being built? This is not just a one-off with what happened in 2024.
Yeah, no, I think it was fair to sort of ask where Indiana would land in 25, because undeniably Indiana was, at least to an extent, a product of its schedule last season. And listen, with these kind of bloated conferences, you're going to get years like Indiana had last year where you're kind of scratching around to find quality wins. You think about Texas A&M this year. I don't think they played a team in the top half of the SEC until the Texas game. It is just something that unfortunately is going to happen, I think, a little bit more often because we have made these conferences so large. But it was fair to ask, how much more ceiling is there when the only sort of evidence we had of Indiana playing teams at the level that it wanted to go up to, that it believed it could go up to, was Ohio State and Notre Dame, 2 games that Indiana, lost pretty comfortably. And you watched those games and you said, yeah, Indiana is clearly kind of a level below these teams, especially at the line of scrimmage. I think it was probably the Iowa game and then certainly the Oregon game this year when we started to appreciate. We thought maybe Indiana was better. The sort of the optimism coming out of the program in the preseason, the way some players that had been held over from last year had improved. Obviously, Signetti's track record, it's 15 winning seasons in 15 years if you kind of go through all of his levels as a head coach. But it was probably Iowa and then certainly Oregon that you sort of said, well, if they can compete with these teams, then they are at the line of scrimmage specifically. If they can be winning these games at the line of scrimmage, offensive line, defensive line, front six defensively, then this team probably is, up a level from where it was in 2024. Ohio State probably felt a little bit like the final boss in a lot of different ways for Indiana in that respect. And even, just sort of historically and culturally, Ohio State is of course the, kind of the biggest program in the conference. And I think to win that game last Saturday, the way that Indiana did, the physicality required, the defensive intensity required, I think was very important. But it has been kind of progressive over the season, just at different points, recognizing as good as Indiana was a year ago, this group is undeniably better.
Yeah, and it's crazy to really think about it. Zach Osterman from the Indy Star is our guest. And I mean, for one thing, you did not have Mendoza on this team, this roster. He was out in California, and he was putting up decent stats, but nothing compares to what he's doing right now with Indiana. And talk about, his skill set, as well as just having his brother Alberto right behind him in the depth chart. It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana had a good quarterback last year. Curtis Rourke was, I think, second team All Big Ten, and Rourke was, it sort of sounds like you're damning him with faint praise. He was very consistent at what he was good at, and there were some things that particularly I think, Fernando Mendoza can kind of push the ball down the field at a level that Rourke couldn't. When you see, his ability to take the top off of defense and things like that, he's also a little bit more mobile. Of course, Rourke had already suffered a torn ACL, and then we found out after the season he was playing on a torn ACL for, a lot of, if not all of last season as well. So that affected his mobility. But Mendoza's able to extend plays. He's able to kind of move away from pressure and a little bit harder to bring down. He is just, I think, he's added just kind of that 5% maybe is the best way to put it, that he can impact the game with his legs. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns this season. He can, again, push the ball down the field a little bit more. I think it's interesting because he got sacked 41 times in 12 games at Cal last season. Like, they just had all kinds of problems with pass protection. And I think Indiana's biggest challenge with Fernando Mendoza, and you talked about his brother, who actually was committed to Curt Cignetti at James Madison, then flipped to Indiana and was here last year as a true freshman. So Alberto Mendoza kind of had a head start on all this from a scheme perspective. But with Fernando, I think Indiana's biggest challenge was just getting him comfortable and just getting him to trust, you have time to make 3 read progressions, 4 read progressions. Your line is going to hold up for you. And you could see early in the season, he was rushing. He was, there were times where he would just kind of almost make himself uncomfortable. But then you get to, a game like Ohio State, he takes that huge hit from Caden Curry on the first snap of the game, and he has to come out for obviously a play. But he just kind of comes right back in, and you don't feel like it's affected him maybe the way it would have, 2 or 3 months ago. And I think that, as much as you talk about the arm talent, I think that progression has been really important too, of, Mendoza just trusting his protection, almost allowing for himself the idea that getting hit every once in a while isn't the worst thing in the world. Just keep playing through it, because it's not going to be like maybe it was at Cal, where you're just constantly under pressure. You're constantly on the run. Yeah. And it's been, even just as a sort of neutral observer, it has been kind of a fun story to tell of Fernando Mendoza, Alberto Mendoza, their family. Their dad played high school football with Mario Cristobal. They have been open about kind of their support for their mom, who's going through MS. I mean, they are a fascinating group and a really fun group to cover. And obviously, Fernando Mendoza in particular might wind up making some Indiana history as well this weekend.
No doubt, with him being in that short list of Heisman nominees. And of course, a very passionate kid at that. But I mean, he can't do it without the team around him. You talked about the offensive line, how they've been able to give him a little bit more help than what Cal was able to do just last year. It's kind of like stepping outside in the cold, but knowing that you can go back inside whenever you want. It's just not that cold. It's not as cold as when you're in the middle of a field and you're just like kind of freezing out there. But he's got a lot of playmakers around him too, and this defense is solid as well. What else do you put down this success this season to? Because, I mean, the running backs are solid and the defense has looked really good as well. But you are going to be missing some pieces moving forward. Talk a little bit about the rest of the health as well as the defensive side of the ball on top of it.
Yeah, Indiana's defense, and it's easier to identify one player, especially when it's a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Indiana's defense has maybe not gotten quite at least until recently, not gotten quite the credit for this that it deserves. I mean, it has been, what anybody who watched the Big Ten championship game saw on Saturday night with, I think Ohio State rushed for 56 yards as a team and Indiana sacked Julian Sand 5 times. That's what Indiana's defense has been all year. I mean, again, going back to the Oregon game, Oregon had just beaten Penn State. They'd scored 30 or 31 points at Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Dante Moore had only been sacked once, and I think he'd thrown maybe one pick in 5 games. Indiana sacked him 6 times and picked him off twice. They only allowed 64 yards the entire second half total offense. And that's in Austin Stadium. Oregon shutting down Oregon in Austin like that is not something that happens very often. And it is a defense that is just incredibly disruptive at all 3 levels. They've got a genuine sort of, single cover corner in D'Angelo Pons. Their linebackers are really, really good. They're also athletic enough that they will run with 3 backers at times, even against, 3 wide receiver sets. They trust their linebackers in pass coverage, and that lets them be kind of sturdier against run pass options. That lets them be more creative in how they simulate and bring pressures. Their linebackers, I thought, were maybe the single best position group in that Ohio State game, either side of the ball. And their defensive line has just been really disruptive kind of across the board. Last year, they were good along the defensive line, but what really made them good was kind of they had this, by the end of the season, they built this really good 2-man game between Mikael Kamara, who is still in Indiana, but has kind of been playing injured for a lot of this season, and CJ West, who's now at the 49ers. This year, I mean, I'm not trying to do a disservice to some of the other guys on Indiana's defensive line last year that were good, like James Carpenter and Linnell Carr, but this year the group has been just kind of across the board, really, really productive. They've done it with guys they developed, like Tyreek Tucker and Mario Landino inside. They've done it with transfers like Kellen Wyatt and Stephen Daly that have kind of picked up some of the slack because Kamara's been hurt. But as you mentioned now, Wyatt's been out for a while now and is out for the season. And now Daly picked up kind of a freak injury celebrating, I guess, after the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was, I think he just kind of I think his knee just kind of buckled basically. And they had not specified what the injury is other than to say he will probably miss the entire playoff. And so now they've kind of got to maybe hope they get Kamara healthy again. He had 10.5 sacks last season. He's only got 1 this season. That kind of gives you an idea of what he's been playing through. But if they can get him a little bit healthier here and maybe get him back toward being that player, that goes a long way, I think, in replacing what Daly had kind of gotten to producing consistently. He was second in the country in tackles for loss. And then, I think it's also going to be about maybe moving some other pieces around, maybe scheming some things differently. But that is kind of that front 6 is probably, I mean, Indiana's obviously got a good coaching staff, kind of across the board. They wouldn't be having the success without it. But the 3 guys that manage that front 6, the defensive coordinator, Bryant Haynes, who also coaches linebackers, and then they have 2 line coaches, Buda Williams and Pat Coons. Those 3 are probably about as good as any part of the coaching staff at sort of scheming their way through, problems that arise, developing younger players, et cetera. So I suspect, given some time, especially for the Rose Bowl at least, Indiana's going to find some solutions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like seeing this team at full force. They've been entertaining all year long. Zach Osterman has been our guest. Real quick, is the Sherrone Moore news just as loud up north as it is down south?
Oh yeah, I mean it. It had seemed to me like there were kind of like rumors running around for a while, but you never know what to put stock in. Any stuff like that. It caught, I would say, it's fair to say, the entire Big Ten pretty flat-footed yesterday, and of course, everything that's kind of developed around it is kind of strange, and I suspect there's probably going to be, just from watching from 5,000 feet away, I suspect there's probably going to be at least a couple more pennies to drop on that thing. But it is certainly one that nobody saw coming when it broke contain yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Zach, we appreciate you hopping on with us, man. Let the people know where they can find your work and follow the Indiana Hoosiers, whether on the hard court or on the football field, all season long.
Yeah, on Twitter, it's just at Zach Osterman, and indystar.com/sports, indystar.com/sports. We shortened it for the internet because Indianapolis Star is kind of a long URL to remember. Yeah. So, and we're going to keep it busy. Basketball's at Kentucky on Saturday night. I'm already planning to stop at the Publix down in Louisville on my way over. Don't get my pub subs up here often enough, and then we'll be flying out to Pasadena before too long. They're keeping us busy.
There you go. Well, it's always good to be busy, and we always appreciate you hopping on with us. Hopefully we can chat again, but Zach, appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Great stuff. Zach Osterman, the Indy Star, and he's right, Indianapolis Star. You know how the internet is. We like to abbreviate everything. But we take it to break. 256-576-97.7 to get on this episode of The Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is The Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
A week from Friday, Alabama visiting Oklahoma in the first round of the college football playoff. The Crimson Tide, a 1.5 favorite. Total bet down from 41.5 to 40.5. On November the 15th, the Sooners turned 3 Alabama turnovers into 17 points at a 23-21 win over the Crimson Tide. The winner will advance to the quarterfinals to meet Indiana in the Rose Bowl. The Hoosiers plus 250 to win the national title. Alabama 25-1. Falcons and Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football today. The Falcons are the 4.5-point road underdog. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy was built on treating athletes, and today we treat so much more. Whether you're a high school competitor, weekend warrior, or recovering from surgery, Johnson & Hayes pairs you with a dedicated therapist for one-on-one consistent care. We offer specialized programs in sports rehab, neurological therapy, pelvic health, post-concussion care, and more. Founded by lifelong athletes, trusted by top physicians across Alabama, Johnson & Hayes delivers results. Visit johnsonandhayes.com and get back to what you love.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. And with our Workhorse special promotion, that new 255 CTL is just $73,655. But it's only good through December 31st. Prices increase in January, so lock in your savings now and take advantage of year-end tax benefits to maximize your investment. Don't wait. The best time to buy that new Cat 255 is today. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit Christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Armed and dangerous. Ain't too many can bang with us. Straight up, no. Label us notorious.
Joe, I'm finally going to pull the trigger and get my car completely fixed, completely checked out, and it's going to happen today. I'm so excited for it. No more stressing. Ever since the shag went out on me.
I was about to say, hasn't your vehicle been needing fixing since 2012?
Well, I had another vehicle that I could drive.
Oh, okay.
It's a tough thing to juggle 2 cars, I will say.
Oh, I am so sure it is. I mean, because a lot of people just have 2 vehicles that they're just like, all right, which one am I going to drive? I'm going to drive this one or I'm going to drive that one? Well, I guess I'll go with this one.
It's my biggest flex, and it's not even that impressive because, one of them could break down at any moment.
They
and
actually
now
both could break down at any moment.
Now I'm just terrified that the Mustang breaks down before I can get it into the shop. But 256-576-97.7, the number to get in. And Joe, we got some possible coaches that might come into Michigan depending on how it all goes down.
And I think that this is the reason why it kind of flows into the Alabama area in this, because it doesn't matter. Whenever you look at an article right now, the whole conversation lies on, well, Michigan now has to get a brand new head coach, and who's that head coach going to be? So all publications are starting to put out their list, their top 5 lists of who do you think it could be, who could possibly. Now, again, some of these could be factual based on information they have, and some of them just could be trying to piece puzzles together based on relationships with people inside of the athletic department that's already there.
Clickbait.
So so there is one thing that is kind of a common trend through every single one of those, and that is the fact that Kalen DeBoer's name is at the top of every single list that you see when it comes to a potential head coach.
Man, these guys got to stop trifling. Kalen DeBoer is not going to leave Alabama, where he's very happy. He's just barely getting his ground. He's not going to leave Alabama to go to Michigan, but I understand it.
Then let me ask you, why do you say he wouldn't leave?
I think he still has something to prove at Alabama. I think he still needs to get past that whole Nick Saban rhetoric, and I think he's already making that case because last year doesn't make the SEC championship, falls to the bowl game. This year makes the SEC championship, loses it, But now he's in the playoffs. Still has something to prove. Next year, you saw it with Nick Saban. You might see it with Kalen DeBoer. It's when they hit their stride. It's when Nick Saban hit the national title and won against Texas. That's where Alabama team might be able to do the same, hopefully against Texas, because that would be sick. I mean, come on now.
The question is because, the initial reaction is going to be, why would you leave Alabama? That's dumb. Okay, but what are the reasons? That's the only thing I'm curious of is what are your reasons other than it's Alabama being a reason why he would stay and not even consider the job? That's why
I gave you a reason. I gave you a few.
You gave me a reason. I don't know if it's good enough for him to stay.
Might not
I'm
be.
just saying the thought that Alabama there's no chance on earth you would leave Alabama for another job. Well, the only reason that Nick Saban stayed for as long as he did was because he gained emotional attachment to the university because of what happened in 2011.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for those tornadoes and everything that happened to the city of Tuscaloosa and Nick Saban wanting to, start building houses and all this other stuff they started to do, who's saying that he would have been there up until 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Like
some would say those tornadoes wove him into the grounds of Tuscaloosa.
Well, it absolutely did because he did, then start to plan his own roots there and started to have this emotional attachment to the city that it became more than football and it became his home.
Mm-hmm.
With DeBoer, that hasn't happened yet because he's only been there for, 13 months, whatever, 15 months.
But do you like the rhetoric of him, being the next coach in a university that had one of the best coaches in all of history? Or would you want to be a coach that gets to follow up Jim Harbaugh and Sherrone Moore? I mean, obviously, you don't have to do much to be better. But again, at Alabama, there's a lot of weight that's weighing you down.
He also wouldn't be replacing the guy at Michigan. I mean, why is it that in the middle of last season and this season we discussed the fact that, Nick Saban, like he should be coming back. Is he going to come out of retirement? Is he going to do this? Is Kalen DeBoer going to get fired? We need to let go of him. I can't believe that we've lost 3 games. I can't believe we did this. We lost 3 games this year. Like it's, what happened after Florida State? I don't know if he's ever going to be able to turn this around. Like it all started there every single second. He's always getting compared to it. And he's proven that he is a good head coach. He's proven that he's done. Now, look, I'm not saying he's going to leave. I'm just saying that if you're looking at the 2 universities, leaving Alabama for Michigan is not as asinine as people want to make it out to be.
Nope.
It's not like, again, you're leaving Alabama to go to Alabama State. You're not leaving Alabama to go to SMU. Like, it's not like that.
Look, I look at Michigan like they're the Auburn of the Big 12.
No, they can actually beat their rival on the road.
I'm just saying that's just the way that I view them. But some of the other names on that list, Marcus Freeman, of course, for Notre Dame. Maybe he'll opt out of being the coach there, be in a conference. I doubt it. Making too much money. Lincoln Riley, of course, the USC coach. Jed Fish from Washington, as well as PJ Fleck, who is totally, kind of created his own story over at that Minnesota Beavers team. But we got a whole second hour coming up next. And, Joe, I'll let you finish this one out.
Phone lines are open to you, 256-576-4977. You can hear the phone lines going off in the background. We'll continue on the Blitz when we come back on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Phone lines are open now, 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Well, Looking deep downfield, looking for Williams. Comes back, makes the catch. Trying to split defenders. Makes them bang into each other. Stays on his feet. Breaks a tackle. Scores. Ryan Williams, one play, 75 yards.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Streaming live on Thursday at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On Thursday's edition of Crimson Drive, we'll be joined by our radio sideline reporter for Alabama football, Corey Reamer.
Trying to figure out how we can get both sides of the football to play their best at the same time. We've had offense really carry the team during parts of the season, defense carry it through the other parts. How do we put it all together? You never know what is going to happen right now. You can find a rhythm, get everybody on the same page, and you go out there and you take care of business next Friday. What that does from a confidence standpoint, leading into the next game, it's just, these are little building blocks. And I think it's, imperative for us to get off to a good start in each of these games. We've had some games where we've been a little bit slow coming out of the gate. And if we can have some early success, this team can really build off of that momentum.
I'll have more in a moment. Hey, Bama fans, each Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, join us live for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This live streaming talk show features the latest on Alabama athletics with exclusive conversations with Tide student athletes, coaches, and media members giving their perspective on the Crimson Tide. You can watch on YouTube, Facebook, and X, with all conversations archived as well on the Alabama Insider podcast. Roll Tide with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
A week from Friday, Alabama visiting Oklahoma in the first round of the college football playoff. The Crimson Tide, a 1.5 favorite. Total bet down from 41.5 to 40.5. On November the 15th, the Sooners turned 3 Alabama turnovers into 17 points at a 23-21 win over the Crimson Tide. The winner will advance to the quarterfinals to meet Indiana in the Rose Bowl. The Hoosiers plus 250 to win the national title. Alabama 25-1. Falcons and Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football today. The Falcons are the 4.5-point road underdog. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham. On this Thursday, coming up tonight,
5:30 over on our sister station, Talk Radio WZZN, UAH and Trevecca women's basketball going down at the place known as Sports Med Arena in Spraggins Hall. UAH right now on a 5-game winning streak, taking on one of the top 30 defenses in all of college basketball. And so that is going to be happening tonight at Spraggins. Attendance is always free, and you can head over there and watch. But if you can't, you can always listen or potentially even watch on Flow if you have that as well. As Scott Tyson and myself will be on the call for that game at 5:30. Then at 7:30, it'll be the men's turn as UAH and Trevecca will be going at it. That game will be heard on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and Flow, so you'll be able to watch and listen there, depending on what you would like to do. And then, of course, you obviously also have some Thursday night football that's going to be taking place as well.
No doubt about it.
So a lot of those things going on, and always courtesy of Fleming Roofing and Restoration as the reason why you're able to hear our voices every single Monday through Friday.
Yeah, Joe, did you know these are the guys that you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs?
I've heard that.
If you're having any roofing problems, just look them up online.
At
FlemingHSV.com. And remember that Fleming always shows up, and you can get a free quote today.
That's
you might
right.
as well just go and take advantage of that. It's also Tom Abraham Show, going to be live from Correjos. So make sure you guys head on over there. It's going to be a Beat the Big Dog Thursday. Golly, these weeks fly by so fast. But the phone lines are open to you guys for the first segment of this hour. We will be getting into a little bit of Texas Tech conversation on the other end, but we got Jason on with us first. Jason, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are y'all doing today?
Fantastic.
Great.
What he said.
Hey, y'all brought up a deal about Kalen DeBoer and why he wouldn't leave. He's got an agent named Jimmy Sexton, and Jimmy likes to shop his coaches that he signs each year.
You're not wrong.
And like the guy Auburn just hired, Golish, he's not associated with Sexton, right?
No, a lot of the coaches that were hired this go-round were not associated with him.
That's a good thing. Like if Golish goes 10-2 and 11-1, then Sexton will be going, hey, Ohio State, you just got rid of your coach, and I got to find one for you.
Absolutely. I mean, basically, that's the reason why a lot of universities, people are talking about this whole Notre Dame thing. That's also the reason why a lot of universities have started looking elsewhere and not going with his clients, because they know that they're going to have to spend astronomical amounts of money to get them. They know that they're going to have to put clauses in their contracts. It's going to cost them even more money. And they know that they're not going to have to do that with other agents, because the other agents are not going to treat them like that. And they don't have the catalog of coaches where you're having to bid one of his coaches against another one of his coaches.
Now, we're talking about the biggest agent in college football right now. A guy makes $23 million a year. And that's a low end.
Right. I would you hire a coach that was climbing?
The only reason that I would consider it would be if it was like Nick Saban. That's the only reason I'm considering it. It would have to be like one of the greatest coaches of all time.
And when you think about it, Michigan gave that Blair Underwood, what was it, $10 million to come quarterback him last year?
Bryce Underwood, yes, sir.
Bryce Underwood. And he's only 2 high school passes. He hadn't played it down in college football, and now he still can't pass. So that was a bad investment. They probably have it'd be nothing to them to offer Kalen DeBoer a bigger contract when he's got to Alabama.
Well, yeah, and of course for Underwood, I mean, you got to see what he could do, but now, of course, he's going to have to work with a different head coach, and on top of that, you don't know what these players are thinking at this point. I don't think they can jump ship though after a coach is fired. It just gives them a few more.
Yeah. Well, they can jump ship, whichever one happens first. Either the new coach is hired in 5 days afterwards, or January 2nd, whichever one comes first.
So it's going to be interesting to see.
You know where Underwood's original signing place was, right? LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you go down with Lane.
One of the biggest flips.
Yeah, and you got Mr. Kiffin down there, and he's got $25 million to work with.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Wolverine Dan wants to hear that, but of course it is a possibility.
Welcome to 2025.
It is. Yes, this is the truth.
I mean, the coach just got fired at Michigan. The crap's getting ready to hit the fan there.
Mm-hmm.
he'd be available.
That is true. Jason, we appreciate that. Do you have a wacky underdog pick or anything for us this week? Or
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go really wacky.
Okay.
I am going with the Atlanta Falcons because the Saints are wheeling right now.
All right. Well, that game's going down tonight, so it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens with it. But, Jason, we appreciate that call, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks for that phone call. Let's continue on the phone lines. Brandon, welcome into the Blitz, man. How's it going?
I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet ain't so far down.
It may not be for some people.
It's beautiful stuff right there.
It's a great song, actually.
There's somebody on the message boards that says they have a video of Sherrone Moore singing Jason Derulo, What You Say, and everybody is screaming post it.
Ooh, what you say?
It's a great song, though.
I don't know about great song, but yeah, it's a song.
Jason Derulo, he's got some songs that'll make me feel like it's midnight.
The thing about Jason Derulo is that if it wasn't for him screaming his name at the very beginning of the song, I'd never know it was him.
Nobody would know who he is.
I mean, never. Absolutely.
He's got an iconic voice, Joe.
Jason, exactly. You don't have to do it before every single song.
He really doesn't. But I mean, you got to have a little color.
Then you got to throw the Beluga
tag.
Heights at the end of each song, man. Come on.
It's a little much, but still.
Come on.
It's like how we do our show, you
I had
know?
to listen way too many of those
speaking
songs.
Speaking of DeLuca Heights, whoever Auburn's coach is, 3 coaches from now in 2031, they're going to play Troy at home for the first time. Ever.
At Troy? Or
no.
Have Troy come to their house?
Troy's going to Auburn.
Okay, I was about to say. That would have been crazy.
It's sad
they never met.
Well, it's because of the way the universities of Alabama and Auburn have been up until this point in time.
Money stays in state, though.
Weird. I would have thought for sure they'd played at least one.
Well, and what's really funny, here's
Georgia's
what's funny
played
about
a few
this,
times,
is if for people it's like, wait, what did he say? This news literally just came out like 10 minutes ago. Like it's been, the Sherrone Moore stuff has dominated so much that this has never become an actual, nobody's paying attention to this just yet. But Troy and Auburn have never played, even though they're all of 50 miles away from each other, maybe. And yeah, they just broke 10 minutes ago that it'll be the first ever matchup between those two schools. It's going to happen Saturday, September 6th, 2031 is those two teams are going to play each other.
Well, I can't wait for that.
I mean, heck, my son may be playing in the game by then.
I'm going to be 31 years old.
In 6 years, no, he'll be 13.
When you talk about going to Michigan, I can't imagine anybody, especially Taylor DeBoer, would leave to go to Michigan right now. Dude, they got skeletons falling out of the closet.
Yeah.
Like it's going out of style.
Well, no,
there's no telling what else is going on up at that place.
This screams the Kirby Smart in the Auburn interview is what this screams. Hey, before I even think about taking this job, if I were to consider it, I need to know the skeletons. Like I need to know, because I am not going to accept a job thinking that, okay, everything is known. We know everything that's going to happen over the next 6 months, NCAA wise or anything else. And then I accept the job and yet another skeleton falls out of the closet. It doesn't matter if it's DeBoer or anybody else. I go into that interview and I want to know everything that is potentially going to come my way so that I can prepare for it if I take the job.
Well, if Biff Poggi's skeleton falls out of the closet, it's going to look like 3 of mine.
Oh, that's the worst part about everything that's happening is that we don't know how deep this goes because again, the what he's been charged with has not even came out yet. So, we can speculate and think about, things we're seeing on message boards, but even the police are not saying what the actual charges are to him just yet because of the complexity of the investigation.
Yeah, it's so crazy of a story that we didn't want to just explode on it and just tell you guys every little thing that we've seen on X. Here. But yeah, we're still talking about it.
Wait till for Eternity Row, the signs they have for the home game next year against Michigan. Over or under 5 signs with a knife to the throat.
Well, man, right now, just doing that's going to cost Michigan 15 yards. Can't do that in a game anymore, man. You can't do knife to the throat.
The throat slice is going to take on new meaning for Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to be like horns down to them.
Yes, exactly.
That's going to be their horns down. Hey, Big Ten has released a statement you cannot do slash to the throat when playing Michigan, as it is going to be considered disrespectful.
You have to think twice.
But Notre Dame can do it if they ever play them, if they ever get scheduled in Michigan again.
That's good stuff. Well, I am going to take Prairie View A&M to cover against South Carolina State in the Celebration Bowl, which is the only game this weekend other than the Boise State versus Washington.
Okay. I
we
love
talked about
love
Prairie View and A&M the other day.
Yeah. I love your picks and how extremely wacky they are.
It's also, again, the only game outside of like Navy Army that's actually playing this weekend.
Not wrong.
Yeah, I figured I'd take something. I mean, so I'll take that one and see how that goes. And at what point does the school, does the board of trustees just go in there and whack everybody who stopped the stupidness? Because you say what you want.
Yeah.
Nick Saban had a couple things with people transferring in and out. He didn't have no scandals going on, like no crazy stuff. Like, he calmed everybody down because you knew he would put a foot up your butt. I mean, he fired Lane Kiffin before a championship game. If that wasn't a shot that everybody got, then nobody ever understood. But at what point does this board of trustees and people start cleaning house with everybody after this next bowl game? I mean, do you think there's even one coach on this Michigan roster that will be on the roster next year, short of a trainer or maybe somebody that just works in the recruiting department?
Oh, no.
I think that it'll be all brand new starting next season.
No, what I would say is that if I'm the athletic director and I am the one that is one trying to save my own tail, because I'm the one that hired Sherrone Moore after after Harbaugh left, and then we ended up having to suspend him because of the NCAA stuff. I am going in, and it doesn't matter if you had shaken his hand one time. If you had anything to do with Harbaugh, you were gone. That is what I'm doing. And obviously I'm not going to be the one that does that, but the next head coach that is going to be part of the interview is, are you prepared and do you have a staff in mind, top to bottom, trainers, I'm talking medical staff, I'm talking everything, sideline people, camera people, every bit of it. You totally cut the head off the snake and you say, I am not letting anything related to that man stay in this university except the trophy.
Do you do whatever it takes to get Gruden to completely reset the narrative?
I don't think Gruden would reset the narrative, because I think that is probably the one person they don't need to go get because his own skeletons.
Just dropping one controversial figure for another and then having another one come in. I joked about it yesterday when I was texting Brody, the morning producer, and he was throwing out some names, and I was like, maybe Urban Meyer they could bring in, John Gruden possibly. And I was like,
Dude, they would burn Urban Meyer's house to the ground, and he would never be able to set foot in Ohio ever again.
Look, and that's why I'm saying this, is that you've got to go out. You have to get somebody that is not connected to Michigan whatsoever, because this is also a PR thing. And let's be honest, depending on what the allegations come into, you're also going to have to do massive PR of showing that what this man did is not reflective of the university. And you're going to have to be active in that there's going to be a lot more stuff off the field that you're going to have to deal with because of this situation. This is not as much of an ideal location as it is for a college football coach. The behind the scenes stuff that he's going to have to deal with is going to be even larger, that you're going to need to know this stuff up front and have a plan for it. And you can't get an Urban Meyer, which there's no chance that's happening. You couldn't get a Gruden. You couldn't get any one of those. You have got to find somebody that is the direct opposite of a Harbaugh and Moore. That's what you have to do. But still has the cachet.
We know it won't be Bill Belichick. Roll Tide.
Good stuff.
No. Again, going back to that Aaron Hernandez thing, Belichick doesn't look good in that either. It's maybe another reason why he's at North Carolina right now. No, that's where Michigan has to go with this. This isn't a, this was all Urban Meyer and Ryan Day's winning and we don't have to deal with any of this. Like, this doesn't have anything to do with us. This is an Urban thing. Totally different. This is something in-house, in the offices, in the meeting rooms, in every bit of that. They have got to 100%. It's like a bed bug, man. You got to disinfect the entire house. You got to fumigate. You got to get rid of clothes that were attached to it. You've got to do every single bit of that just to be in the situation where you could say we are moving forward after this.
Got to burn it with fire.
You literally have to burn the entire athletic department on the football side to the ground and then rebuild it in the next coach's image.
Well, I'll say this. Michigan might want to forget some things, but Texas Tech does not. And as Michigan moves on from the troubling last few years, we move on to a Texas Tech conversation on the other side, getting you guys the full picture of this college football playoff. And Jarret Johnson from InsideTheRedRaiders.com is going to be joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to break it all down for you here on this Thursday edition of the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Troy and Auburn.
Also, LA Bowl.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and may be a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Does it really matter which dealership you buy from? Short answer, yes it does. Hello, I'm Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford. Before you buy, take just a minute to check out the dealership itself, because where you buy can make all the difference. Sure, customer reviews tell you what others think, and that's good. But when Ford Motor Company itself recognizes a dealer, that's something special. Woody Anderson Ford has earned Ford's Triple Crown Award, an honor achieved by only the top 1% of Ford dealers in America. It's based on superior customer satisfaction, sales excellence, and exceptional service performance. In other words, the best of the best. So when you're ready for your next car, truck, or SUV, come see how we earned our Triple Crown status. Superior service, sales excellence, over-the-top delivery. That's Woody Anderson Ford. And we hope to see you soon.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
This is Bill Crawford with Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. I've recently had a stem cell procedure on my right knee from Dr. Charles Lee of Regenesis. Stem cells are harvested from your body and re-administered back into your body. This approach is painless, quick, and requires no lengthy rehab. My knee feels better already. Regenesis is located at 4025 Pepperwood Circle Southwest, Suite C, Huntsville, Alabama. Call 256-715-8193 or Google their website for more information.
Say, look at all the shell, make that thing clap. Those in the clues, spinning those when it's bad. Digging real fine, standing 5'9", high heels on, right on time. Oh man, look at Shorty, she making that thing jiggle. I like the way it wobbly when it wiggle.
Yeah, if you just missed it a few moments ago, about 15 minutes ago, it became official that in the state of Alabama, it is allowed for you to be the top tier university and one of the top tier universities and schedule a second tier in-state university. It's the wildest thing that has never really happened in the state of Alabama. Auburn and Troy have announced that they will be playing each other on September 6th, 2031. It is the first time that those teams will ever meet in the entire history of both Auburn and Troy athletics. That game is going to be taking place early in the season in 2031. 256-576-4977 gets you in on the Blitz throughout this. You can also be watching on WZZN TV as we have more and more comments coming on about Sherrone Moore.
Of course they would be.
Yeah. And even Kramer says, how do we not know that his wife didn't know about this? Says we're making assumptions. Look, everything's an assumption at this point in time, mainly because the police have not released any of the charges and allegations. So we're not going to know any of this.
He was going a totally different way with the assumption stuff.
He was actually he was going with, living that pineapple lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that was, it's totally different. Yeah, not SpongeBob pineapple, but upside down pineapple.
Yeah, we don't need to get into the details.
Totally different lifestyle in this. So no, we don't really know anything because again, those allegations and the police reports and everything that's involved with the case has yet to be released because of the sensitivity of the investigation.
Yeah, the absolute telenovela job that was pretty much yesterday. But regardless, I know a guy that does know something about, well, a really good football team, and that is Jarret Johnson from InsideTheRedRaiders.com. And he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jarret, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. First off, thanks for having me on, man. And how are y'all?
Doing fantastic, man. We appreciate you hopping on. And let's be straight. When was the last time that we've really had Texas Tech to be a part of the top of our minds when we're talking about college football and a national championship, since basically the way that the university has started to attack college football and everything that is now involved with NIL?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Tech hasn't been on the national consciousness in terms of football really ever. I guess 2008 when they beat Texas would be the one time I think maybe the whole country said, whoa, what is Mike Leach doing out there in West Texas? And and really took notice. But outside of that, at least in my lifetime, no, I think this is it.
Well, and with that, because obviously we're an SEC country and we were kind of the benefactors of the whole Texas and Oregon, or Texas and Oklahoma moving into the SEC. And now since that happened, a lot of people have kind of looked at the Big 12 as not as major of a conference as what it used to be. And even whenever we were talking, I mean, we can go back to Big 12 Media Days and some of the things that were being said at Big 12 Media Days. And we're going, all right, are you for real in this? But from the inside of it, in Big 12 country, in Big 12 football, how do you guys look at the way that this league is now and this conference is since Texas and Oklahoma has left, that's led to what we're seeing now, and that's Texas Tech taking over the conference in college football?
Yeah, those are all fair points and questions. I think if you look objectively at it, you have to look at the Big 12, and like you said, with the departures of UT and OU, and looking at the Big 12 being inferior overall. I think just like with anything else, whether it be football, politics, whatever in life, you need to look at exactly what you're talking about. And in Texas Tech's case, and in a lesser capacity this year, BYU and Utah, you could see some things in the trenches that look like, okay, this could stack up. When you look at other quality teams and programs around the country, like I hear a lot of Big 12 defenders talk about, Oh, well, the SEC and the Big Ten is top heavy. You look at, say, a Minnesota, or you could use whatever school in the SEC as an example, but be like, Tech would kick their butts, and I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think if you actually watch Texas Tech play, look at their body of work, then I think you could objectively see that there is some talent. There are some good teams in the Big 12. I think BYU is incomplete because it lacks a speed component, but in the trenches, very sound. Mm-hmm. They just weren't as good as a fight in the phone booth as Texas Tech is this season. The same could be said for Utah. Overall, the Big 12, I mean, I don't think it does measure up in terms of the highest level of having maybe 4 or 5 teams that are just complete. You see the speed, you see the skill position, you see obviously the trenches, all that. I do believe Tech stacks up in many of those areas, but the best thing about it is we're going to find out, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, I mean, this has been a university that has seen an upcline when it comes to, we see softball against Texas in the national title game. And now, going over to football, whenever there is the wide opening spot for a team to kind of emerge as that next top figure. I mean, and Texas Tech, I've heard some ridiculous stats about how their season has gone, where they've only trailed in 3 different games, and BYU was the first team to score any points in their opening drive against Texas Tech all season long, pretty much. Talk about how dominant this season has been, and how much do you give it to that the schedule, or do you think it is more of this team as just a complete unit?
I think it's both. Non-conference was not challenging, and we knew that going into it. And honestly, I remember after non-conference being, we still don't know. I mean, they're blowing these terrible teams out. Then they went to Utah, and honestly, Utah being the relatively new member of the Big 12, I just don't know a whole lot. I mean, yes, I've seen them play, but didn't really. Honestly, out of all the conferences, the Pac-12 was the one conference I probably watched the least. And so, everybody was saying they had the number 1 offensive line. They have 2 offensive tackles that are going to be draft picks. Rice-Eccles Stadium is almost impossible to win at. And Texas went in there and pushed them around. And I was like, okay, we may be onto something. And that kind of just went on. Even going through the first BYU matchup where ESPN Game Day was there. And I really thought, watching BYU, that in the trenches, that was the one team in the Big 12 I felt like could stand up against Texas Tech. And, they couldn't. And then they couldn't again last weekend. I was there at Jarret World there in Arlington, AT&T Stadium. And, it was really eye-opening again to see how desperate BYU was in terms of knowing they could not move the ball against Texas Tech. They had one drive where I think they had 3 trick plays. They called 2 timeouts. It was a 16-play, 90-yard drive. And it was a great drive. I think they had 110 yards or maybe just 100 yards the rest of the game. It's just teams become desperate, and eventually, they press, they turn the ball over, and Tech rolls. And that's just really a blueprint we've seen all year, which leads me to believe that it's legit. Honestly, if I have questions about Tech, it's on offense, which sounds weird when you think about if anybody thinks about Texas Tech or has this century, it's been like, oh, they're going to put up a lot of points. Patrick Mahomes, Mike Leach, his air raid offenses, that's what people think of. And look, this is a good offense. You look at all the statistics, the offensive line has been improved. But when Tech faces a team that has a defense that is on the same level as Tech's, and the offense has to be called upon, will it be able to answer the bell? And I just don't have the answer to that question. I know defensively they could stack up. It's going to keep them in these ball games, or at least the first ball game. And then offensively, can Baron Morton, this versatile offense that can run the ball and throw the ball, can it stack up? I don't know. So a lot of questions are going to be answered.
Jarret Johnson from InsideTheRedRaiders.com, and you talked about it, Baron Morton. I feel like he's been at Texas Tech since Patrick Mahomes graduated. He's been there for a minute. But, he's stuck with his team all throughout the NIL, and it's kind of paying off right now. Talk about, what type of quarterback we're looking at in Baron Morton and how he's been able to achieve so much now as a player who's been there for about 8 years.
Yeah, he has been there a long time. And actually, he grew up initially in Lubbock. His dad was a high school football coach in Lubbock, and they moved out another part of Texas, not too far away. But he considers himself, a Lubbock native. So, yeah, and he has been at Texas Tech a long time. He said he had some other offers, but he wanted to see it through with the Red Raiders, and it has paid off through injuries and all kinds of changes, coaching changes and all that. The type of quarterback he is, he's evolved. When he first started, he was a 4-star, Elite 11 finalist, all those things, and he was kind of a gunslinger. He liked to roll out of the pocket, create more time with his legs, and create plays with his arm, like deep throws with his arm. Now he's more of an efficient player. I don't want to say game manager because that's just not the case. He takes a lot of shots downfield, when the opportunities present themselves. But he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. He's not one of the prolific quarterbacks we've seen at Texas Tech in again this century. But his stats in terms of his career stack up with some of the all-time best. He's top 5 in a lot of categories. And quite simply, he's won a lot compared to all those other quarterbacks. And that's the main thing. It seems like when they need a drive or they need a throw, he comes through. They're 11-0 this year with him as the starter. And he's a leader that everybody likes and respects in and around the program. And, he's a big part of Tech's success this year for sure.
Well, and you mentioned a second ago about, if you think of Texas Tech over the last decade, you think Mike Leach, you think Patrick Mahomes, and that's kind of just the first thought. I mean, even as you were talking a few minutes ago, I was sitting and thinking to myself, like, if somebody is watching Texas Tech, and again, no offense to Texas Tech football, but a lot of times, especially in the Southeast and where a lot of our listeners are, they see Texas Tech's logo up on the screen. It's like, okay, well, do I want to watch LSU Florida or do I want to turn over to the Texas Tech game? They're going to choose LSU Florida. So for a lot of our listeners, this is going to be the first time they get to see Texas Tech. For those people that only think of run and gun, 65 points a game, 600 yards of offense, but what is Texas Tech in 2025? You mentioned the offense is the way that it is, but as a team right now, what should people in Huntsville and North Alabama and everybody listening should be thinking about when they sit down and watch Texas Tech coming up in a few days?
Yeah, it's defensive line. That's where it all begins and ends. It's a dominant group. Texas Tech has the number 1 rushing defense in the country. I haven't looked at the stats in a couple of weeks, but the turnover margin's got to be very high. They don't have to blitz a lot because that defensive line is so dominant. For example, BYU's offensive coordinator, Aaron Roderick, said, look, we went max pro to try and stop this pass rush with 7 guys. They only rushed 4. We couldn't stop them. And that allowed them to drop 7 in coverage, and that's why all these turnovers happen. You mentioned Florida, LSU. Well, normally I'd understand. Just as an objective fan, I'd probably watch that too instead of Texas Tech, especially with the defense they play. Not this year. Right. I'll tell you who I'd watch compared. I would definitely not be watching LSU, Florida instead of this Texas Tech defense.
No doubt.
J-Rod, the inside linebacker, Jacob Rodriguez. I mean, he's won basically every award that a defensive player can win. And I'm not sure he's the best, even the 3rd best player on that defensive front. Lee Hunter, who started his collegiate career at Auburn, reminds me of those freakish SEC defensive linemen that I used to cover in high school in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that would go to Alabama, that would go to Georgia, or even Texas. That's what this team's about. David Bailey and Romello Height, coming off the opposite edges, have just been a terror. Just an absolute. They're in the top 5, each of them individually, in terms of most pressures, quarterback pressures this season. And I'll tell you another thing about Tech. Flipping over the other side of the ball, people are saying, is Texas Tech's offensive line going to be able to hold up against some of these top defensive lines that they might face in the playoffs? Well, they've been going against what I think is at least one of the top, if not the top, defensive line in the country. And I know That's sacrilegious saying that to an SEC crowd, and I can't believe I'm saying that. It feels surreal, but I've covered a lot of football, been blessed to cover football at every level, and that's honestly what I see.
Yeah, and of course we get you on this show so you can tell us what you see. And now looking towards January 1st, of course you guys get a bye right out the gates, and an all-out brawl is going to happen on December 20th, as well as that Friday matchup between Alabama and Oklahoma. But how do you feel about the draw? I mean, you're looking at the 4th seed, and you look behind you, and you got an Oregon team that's most likely going to face you. But there's also the chance of JMU. Talk a little bit about this first game, and who you'd rather see. Obviously, we know who you'd rather see, but how Texas Tech might stand up to a Big Ten Oregon Duck squad.
Well, first off, and I'm being sincere when I say this, I have a lot of respect for this Oregon team and the program. But I'm very excited about the matchup. I mean, again, kind of like Tech, you think of Oregon throwing the ball all over the yard and everything, but they're an elite rushing team this year. So you're going to have one of the elite rushing teams in the country against one of the elite run-stopping defenses. So that's just an intriguing matchup in itself. Also, I don't think Texas Tech has seen the team speed problem that Oregon presents, especially at the skill position. Like, you might see 1 or 2 guys with elite speed, and that's really what Tech has done with its offense. Like, you can't stop everybody because you have speed everywhere, but you haven't seen that from anyone else in the Big 12. Obviously, Oregon presents that problem, so that'll be interesting. I'm not scared of it. I see this possibly as a coin flip game, to be honest. And in terms of the whole draw, I watched that Big Ten game or championship. Indiana is so impressive. But there's just something, I think maybe how some SEC fans might be thinking about Texas Tech. There's just something about avoiding Ohio State and Georgia as long as you can that just makes a lot of sense in my head, which that appears to be the draw. That's the draw that Texas Tech has. So a lot of respect. Obviously, all these teams that are going to be, in the quarterfinals are going to be very good. But I like Tech's draw. I think it's going to be a dogfight out there in Miami, and I can't wait to get out there and, feel honored I get to cover it.
No doubt. Awesome. And hopefully we can talk to you on a good note whenever that time does come. But Jarret Johnson has been our guest. Jarret, let the people know where they can follow Texas Tech, whether it's on the hardwood, whether it's on the football field, or anywhere else all season long.
Yeah, Inside the Red Raiders, or you could just Google Texas Tech 247. Also, I'm on the Red Raider Outfitter Rockin' pregame. You can stream that for any, before any of these games. That's really a really fun show. And then also on Twitter at Johnson Jarret, both J's capitalized.
No doubt. Great stuff from you, Jarret. And we're looking forward to all the madness that's going to ensue by the end of the year. It's a wonderful Christmas present, I'll say that much.
It is. Thank y'all so much for having me on.
Hey, thanks, man. We appreciate it, sir.
Good stuff, Jarret Johnson. Again, InsideTheRedRaiders.com, a part of the 247 network. We got to hop into a break, but the phone lines are wide open to you guys. 256-576-97-7. As we said at the beginning of the segment, a bowl game has fallen. How many more will fall moving forward? We'll talk a little bit about that and so much more on the other side.
Auburn and Troy. Auburn and Troy are going to play each other in a football game. Really? You do not know the history of this stuff. This is why you're doing that. I get it.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
The road to the national title starts now.
Strike up the band and light them up.
The Crimson Tide looks to get revenge on the Oklahoma Sooners in the first round of the college football playoffs. Friday, December 19th. First round coverage starts at 4 p.m. on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy, it's not just what we do, it's who we are. Founded in 2003 by Huntsville natives Scott Johnson and Todd Hayes, Johnson & Hayes brings exceptional care to every patient through an all-star team of highly trained physical therapists. From sports performance to post-op rehab, dizziness, women's health, and more. With 7 locations across North Alabama, expert care is always close to home. Learn more at johnsonandhayes.com. Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy, where extraordinary care meets exceptional outcomes. The holidays are here, and so is the holiday pizzazz at Loring & Company Fine Jewelers. At Loring & Company, they know this season is all about family, time, and meaningful connections. And when it comes to finding that perfect gift, they make it easy, enjoyable, and unforgettable. Step into a sparkling world of the world's most desired jewelry brands, all in one place. Their friendly, experienced staff is ready to help you discover something extraordinary. Whether you're shopping for a spouse, a parent, a child, or treating yourself to a little festive shine, finding the right gift doesn't have to be stressful. At Loring & Company Fine Jewelers, it's a pleasure. They'll help you choose a piece that says exactly what you want it to say, beautifully. This holiday season, let the Loring family welcome you into theirs. Visit Loring & Company Fine Jewelers at 800 Airport Road in Huntsville and shop anytime at loringjewelers.com. Add a little holiday pizzazz to your celebrations at Loring & Company Fine Jewelers.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project. The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, last segment, best segment, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham with you on a Thursday. We've got Thursday night football happening over on our sister station, Talk Radio WZZN. That's going to be your Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on over there. Before that, it is going to be UAH and Trevecca basketball. The ladies are on a 5-game winning streak. Lily Wilkin just won her 4th GSC Player of the Week award in her history at UAH. And she's, also the GSC reigning Player of the Year. Not a bad player.
I'm getting deja vu.
Yeah, I know. It is. This team is good. And it still has yet to get into the form that what we saw last year. And this team is very, very good. And they're going to continue to be that way. The men's team on the other side of it, They just lost before they lost to last week to Valdosta State. It was their first conference loss in almost 2 years. Like you had to go back and you totally skipped last year because they didn't lose a single game last year conference wise. You had to go back to 23-24 to start figuring out when the last time was that they had lost a conference game. They've won 6 of their last 7 games. This team is on fire. The other night, they were 4 3-pointers away from tying the school record in 3-pointers made in a game, which was 26. They got to 22 with 10 and a half minutes to go in the game. And then they pulled everybody and they started letting bench players go because they were also up by 56 points. So it's a very good basketball team, number 8 team in the nation. That game's going to be on 97.7 ESPN The Zone around 7:30. No. So you have a lot going on. And now we get to this part because I know John wanted to mention the LA Bowl, but during the break, John comes in and he's like, why are you talking so much about this Auburn-Troy game that's going to be happening?
I just want to know why it was such a big deal.
And I understand.
I look at it, I'm just like, it's kind of a snooze fest.
Well, no, and it would be that way because, again, you grew up in the state of Tennessee and you spent most of your time. I mean, you graduated from Tennessee.
I did, but I've been back and forth from Tennessee and Alabama most
yes,
of my
but
life.
you weren't in a situation where you're sitting there looking at stat lines and football history and all that. Like, I didn't even start doing that to probably like my freshman year of college.
You're right. I was creating my own football league and focusing more on the NFL.
Exactly. So that's the reason I'm saying it. And I'm not saying this in a way of saying like you're uneducated. What I'm trying to say
it's fine, Joe. I'm not even upset right now. I just want you to get to it.
But I'm also wanting everybody else to know about this as well, is how big of a deal this actually is.
Yeah.
That Auburn and Troy are going to be playing each other because through the state of Alabama's history, especially over the last 20 and 30 years, there has been that conversation between Troy fans and UAB fans of like, oh, so you guys will play USA, you guys will play Alabama State, A&M, you'll play Miles, you'll play all those teams.
Y'all must be scared.
You won't play us because if we screw up and actually beat you, because there may be a season that we can, again, a few years ago, Troy was 10-2, 11-1. They were a really good football team.
They can treat the state of Alabama like UCF treated all of Florida.
Exactly. It's, this is making sure that we stay second tier and you don't want to step on the football field with us.
We're going to hang up a freaking banner as national championships.
That has been the conversation for years in the state of Alabama. Alabama's never played UAB, obviously. Alabama has never played Troy. Auburn had never played Troy and still haven't up until 2031 if this game does happen. And Auburn has only played UAB one time in its football history, and that was back in 1996.
But with the game against Troy, that's going to add them to a very interesting list because in between that as well, in 2028, they're set to play North Alabama. This means that Auburn is going to be able to face off against every single Division I team in the state of Alabama, and they can just check off 2 more teams in the next 6 years.
And I think that's the reason why this is such a big deal, because of you have what do we say a lot of times? You have your Troy fans, you have your UAB fans, but on Saturdays they're fans of somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, you have your UAH fans, like I'm rocking UAH gear today because we have a game today. But at the same time, I'm also an Auburn fan. And so it's that sort of thing. Like you're never just I'm only a UAB fan. You do have some of those, or I'm only a Troy fan. So when Troy is in a position like it's been over the past few years where it's winning 9, 10, 11 games, playing for conference championships like it did this season, it's like, oh, you're not going to play us because if we actually beat you, then you're afraid that that's going to hurt your standings in the state recruiting wise, and people are going to start looking at us over you, and you don't want us to get through that glass ceiling that you and Alabama have created of that. We're not letting anybody else rise to power in this state football wise outside of you two. That's always been the thought. And if I'm lying, 256-576-977, even stepping on the field, Troy fans are now going to be happy of like, okay, now we have the opportunity to put up or shut up. Either we'll get blown out by 40 or if we lose by anything in single digits, this is a victory for us. And God forbid if we win, what's going to happen? That's how this is going to be looked at. And now you can look at UAB. Honestly, if you want to look at the two teams who you schedule before the other, I totally picked UAB over Troy. That team's horrible. And Troy is, again, played for conference championship this year. That's why this is a big deal.
Yeah.
This would be the equivalent of Tennessee bringing in Memphis in football. And we all remember what happened when Tennessee and Memphis played each other one time.
Ooh.
So it's that sort of deal.
2006 was
Yeah,
it?
you're talking about upset, like, nope, not doing this again. Like, it's that Tennessee-Memphis thing. Like, Memphis is that second-tier program in the state of Tennessee that's never going to hop up and be that number one with Tennessee and Vanderbilt. It can get close. You've seen what's happened in basketball. They played for a national championship. You could see that part, but from the biggest revenue-driven sport being football, they're always going to be kind of at arm's distance away.
Yeah. And also moving on to a little bit of that bowl news that we were talking about, I think we all thought, that there would be a trickle-down effect. Notre Dame, of course, opting out as several other teams declining invitations to these bowl games. But the LA Bowl has officially announced that they will fold after Saturday's.
Wasn't that the Jimmy Fallon Bowl? Wasn't that what it was? Or the Jimmy Kimmel?
It was. And now it's hosted by Gronk, which is XAI, which is funny because I think we got a reference to that in the chat today over on WZZ.
No. He said Gronk. That's
Gronk?
the AI on Twitter /X.
What's Gronk?
Yeah, Gronk is just, he probably has CTE.
Is this just Gronkowski? Are we talking about Rob Gronkowski? Is he the one that was putting this thing on this year?
Yeah.
Hosted by Gronk.
Yeah, that Gronk.
Why is he?
It doesn't
even matter.
He's literally paying for it. No, and here's the reason why this is going to continue to happen, because the Bahamas Bowl is gone. You're now seeing the LA Bowl go away. And look, unless you're getting the second or third top team in a conference, you're not going to be making any money. Like the
LA Bowl was having to fill out SoFi Stadium of all places.
The Cheez-It Bowl is going to make money. Okay, what used to be the Outback Bowl, which is whatever bowl it is now, that may make money.
The Pop-Tart Bowl is going to make money.
The Pop-Tart Bowl is going to make money because look, who was going to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl if it wasn't Notre Dame?
Yep.
That would have been a massive draw. Those bowl games will continue to thrive. The Las Vegas Bowl may continue to thrive. I don't know. But at this Las Vegas Bowl may actually become part of the college football playoff.
Maybe.
But at the same time, these smaller tiers, we're going to take the number 6 team, the Birmingham Bowls.
No.
Those bowl games are not going to survive this.
But the Xbox Bowl just got started, Joe.
And it's going, and just like Xbox, it's going to die because it's going to have to deal with second tier teams.
They're already playing in like a training facility.
They need to go play. They need to go play at Madison City Stadium. That's where they need to go.
Rich Eisen coming up next, as well as the Tom Abraham Show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, love you.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month, up to $15 at participating locations. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings, in Newmarket and Hampton Cove, and our new location, now open in Hartselle at 200 Main Street West, downtown.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. College football news. Vandy's Diego Pavia named SEC's Offensive Player of the Year, while Texas A&M's Cassius Howell named Defensive Player of the Year. Alabama's Caden Proctor, your Jacobs Blocking Trophy winner. Vandy's Clark Lee named SEC Coach of the Year for the second straight year, guiding the Commodores to a 10-2 mark, Vanderbilt's best regular season in school history. Auburn has named DeMarcus Van Dyke their new cornerbacks coach. He replaces Wesley McGriff. Michigan has fired head coach Sherrone Moore. Details surrounding his firing are still being confirmed. Moore was in jail Wednesday night, hours after his firing. Thursday night college basketball, the UAH Chargers back at home tonight. Got to welcome Trevecca Nazarene. Women tip off at 5. Men's game at 7:30. 97.7 ESPN The Zone, your home for both. Just download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app to listen to the action.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Hey, everybody.
Can't get enough of the Rich Eisen Show? You're in